this city's, its founding is in 1670, but as we all know, people were coming here, killing indigenous, and basically dumping bodies into the water. So also indigenous bodies that, after they committed genocide, they just dumped people, So, there's all kinds of bodies on the bottom of the ocean, on the shores of this city, and then buried underneath the streets that we drive on, literally in downtown Charleston, as it is documented. As you have our waters, our ports of entry, where you had those pest houses like at Sullivan's Island, but that wasn't the only pest house. That's just one. In the early days, they had that system where they would go to Sullivan's first and then come to the peninsula. But then after a while, they were like, we're going to skip that step. And we're just going to go straight on to the peninsula. And then things happened there. People died on the spot. People, had to be disposed of. So that's why I say Charleston is a graveyard. We are driving over people. We live on top of people. People are in the waters. And because of the multitude, because of the amount of people that we brought here, it's in the thousands of bodies that lay beneath this area. As you already know, Charleston is an English colony, but by way of Barbados.
Yes.
Yeah. So while the 8 Lord proprietors funded and organized the founding of Charleston, of South Carolina, the colonists that came were the sons of those, were the kids, because not just sons, women came too, but they were the descendants of those who colonized various areas in the Caribbean, but especially Barbados. And those people born in the Caribbean were the English that were born in the Caribbean came here to colonize South Carolina.
Yes, that's what I explained. The Caribbean profile of Atlantic Charleston is very Caribbean.
Yes, yes. And because of the amount of people that were brought here and the isolation, because black people outnumbered white folks tremendously. A lot of our culture was still maintained through the isolation and the sheer numbers of people brought here.
Yeah.
And so that's how we maintained a lot of that culture. And it really it shows in our architecture, it shows in our food, and just probably our mannerisms and our language and
the South. These are the tears of the dead.
So you have Mother Emanuel, you have the Greek cemetery. So these are black folks here.
These are the black folks.
That's right.
Still.
What's that? Still. Oh yeah, these are active cemeteries too. Most of these back here.
But still black are separate from white people in the cemetery.
What's that now?
Black people are separate from white people.
Oh yes. It's to this day. Yeah. Because it's a church affiliation, so we have churches and societies buried back here. But for the most part, yes, it is still segregated. To this day, it is still segregated.
There are white people going to black churches. And black people going to white church.
This is true. And in that case, oftentimes they would use public cemeteries, there's one on Azalea Drive, or there's Sunset, where they
will not compromise their own cemetery for that.
No, they so I don't know what white churches do, right? Nowadays, it's still the law that you can't bury anybody on the peninsula, but if you belong to Mother Emanuel, 9 times out of 10 you want to be buried in Mother Emanuel's cemetery. That's
and Mother Emanuel is black. That's
right. And this is my auntie.
Oh.
This is my great aunt Irene Mitchell. But right next to her is also a very important person. So this is Cynthia Hurd. Cynthia Hurd is one of the Emanuel 9 that was she was killed in that massacre. The one thing about Charleston is that, like how Brenda puts it, there's only 1 degree of separation between people. And so when that massacre happened, it's not unusual for somebody to know every last person or have some type of connection with that person. And it's very true with Cynthia Hurd. I know my mom knew a lot of these people, but then you have Cynthia here, you have Susie Jackson right there.
Something I love about this modesty, the conception of the monument. It's very functional. It is not to stand up, but to very directly.
Yes. I don't know what this cemetery has to do, because in comparison, you see the cemetery behind it. You see the difference in
This is a monument of the Confederacy.
Yes. And I believe this is the unknown soldier. I think there's a plaque right there.
Okay, let's start a conversation.
What's that?
Let's start a conversation. We are a culture that is a natural relationship with the dead.
Okay, so I'm sorry, say that one more time.
We have a natural relationship with the dead.
Yes, we do, yes.
So, somos dead in unfavorable circumstances, like the black population here, under the special condition of slavery here. We are talking about slavery and the very cruelty here in South Carolina. I think that at the end, all this Gothic, American Gothic, is rooted in some kind of guilt or haunting they did to their culture.
Yeah,
because it is not just a popular romanticism that came from England, because England no so Gothic. England culture is not that Gothic as American.
It's not as what?
Gothic. That means the necro horror.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The Gothic culture, you know?
Okay.
As American. And so I think that there is the way white America relate to their own culture and their own history. The horror they commit in other people, they turn to over themselves in their mind.
I see, yes. They do. I think, so, you know, I guess what we're getting at with that is why do they do that, or
no, just
an observation. Look at that.
Just an observation. Look,
tombstone.
Yeah, trying to establish if I may be wrong to be biased, or if you make a sense for you.
Yeah, you know, they do. I guess internalize. They take. If we talk about slavery, then they'll get defensive. Some people will get defensive. Like, well, my family didn't own any slaves, so it's automatically a guilty conscience because nobody said, or, you know, it blamed this person or their family for anything. We don't know what their family did, and technically they don't either. The thing about what happened in the United States in particular, because I can only speak for here and where I live, is that even if your family did not own people, white people still benefit from systematic racism because they have the optics, they look the part of somebody who is in power in that society. And so you don't have to own you don't have to own a human being in order to benefit from what that system gave. And so I think really feel like the guilt comes in is that knowing that they did absolutely benefit from the residuals of this system, and they're not doing anything to bring about the justice that's needed for all people.